So, very good morning, student. Once again, I welcome you all for the lecture series on remote sensing and GIS. So, this is the lecture number 19, and this will be the part number 4 of the image classification. So, in the previous lecture, I left I just winded up my session uh, till the unsupervised classification as well as the different image classifiers. So in this lecture, we'll proceed forward. Now let us look towards the lecture. इस लेक्चर में हम इमेज क्लासिफिकेशन का कंटिन्यूड पार्ट पढ़ेंगे. हमने आईसो डेटा मैपिंग, ट्रेनिंग डेटा, सुपरवाइज क्लासिफिकेशन, पैरेलल पाइप क्लासिफायर, ये सारी चीजें देख ली है. और हमको अब जो है वो इमेज क्लासिफिकेशन का थोड़ा सा एक्सटेंडेड वर्जन देखना है. So we will continue the topic which I left in the previous lecture. So before starting this lecture, let us have just brief about the what exactly we mean by image classification and what are the different type of image classifier available to classify a remotely sensed image. So image classification में what exactly we do, we assign each pixel of the image to a class, right? And a class here means our land use or our land cover. So suppose you have an image and you have a pixel, and these pixels are nothing but the digital number. So only for visual purpose, we see color represented by these numbers, right? So here these classes are the urban area, forest area, water bodies, or vegetation. So exactly we want to locate which pixel belong to urban area or which pixel belong to forest, which pixel belong to water body, and which pixel belongs to the vegetation. So here we need to establish the relationship between the digital number and the classes, and the relationship will be used to classify or to assign each pixel of the image to a class. So right, so this is what in the second point I have highlighted. So image classification में हम क्या करते हैं? What exactly we do? We assign each pixel of the image, okay, to a class. और क्लास से यहाँ क्या मतलब है? हम एक पिक्सल को एक क्लास से असाइन करते हैं. और यहाँ क्लास से क्या मतलब है? हमारा लैंड यूज, लैंड कवर. तो सपोज हमारे पास एक इमेज है और आपके पास पिक्सल्स है, राइट? एंड दीज पिक्सल्स आर नथिंग, मैंने पहले ही बताया, दे आर दी डिजिटल नंबर. So only for visual purpose, we see color represented by these numbers, right? So here these classes are, कौन से classes हैं? Urban area है, forest है, water bodies है, और हमारे पास vegetation है. So exactly we want to locate which pixel belong to urban area or which pixel belong to forest area, which pixel belong to water body, and which pixel belong to vegetation. So here we need to establish a relationship between the digital number and the classes, and that relationship will be used to classify or to assign each pixel of this image to a class. So you can see for a classification, a relationship needs to be established between the data and class. This is clear to you all. And there are two major types of learning. पहला है supervised और दूसरा है unsupervised. I hope you remember my previous lecture. We have discussed the supervised and unsupervised classification technique. और मैंने आपको कुछ एग्जाम्पल भी दिया था सुपरवाइज क्लासिफिकेशन में. वो मैं आपको पढ़ा रहा था, एक न्यूमेरिकल सॉल्व करने के लिए दिया था, और मैंने बोला था कि एंड देन स्लोली यू विल लर्न दैट एंड यू विल बी मास्टर्ड इन दैट. सो you will reduce the time required in solving that numerical with your learning. ठीक है? So in unsupervised classification technique, we use some logic through which image DN number will be used to make cluster. Okay. So there are two major types of learning technique. पहला है supervised और दूसरा है unsupervised. I hope you remember that the examples which I have mentioned in my previous lecture, जिसमें मैंने छोटे छोटे एग्जाम्पल दिए, कुकिंग, ड्राइविंग, सॉल्विंग मैथमेटिकल प्रॉब्लम. So these are the problems which can be learned either in the supervised manner or in unsupervised manner. So if you supervise, that means you will have an instructor. And in case of image classification, an analyst is required to provide the data set. And what do you mean by data set? Data set means here we are referring the training data. So in unsupervised classification, learning techniques are used to improve the cluster in next iteration. And in supervised classification, basically we provide the training data and that are used to establish the relationship between data and the class. And subsequently we classify the whole input image into several classes. तो एक बार इस स्लाइड को देखो, ये मैंने आपको ऑलरेडी बताया है. आई हैव शोन यू इन द प्रीवियस स्लाइड लेक्चर. मैंने यहाँ पे हाईलाइट भी किया है अनसुपरवाइज्ड और सुपरवाइज्ड क्लासिफिकेशन को. इन अनसुपरवाइज्ड क्लासिफिकेशन टेक्निक, basically we start with the clustering algorithm and we cluster. और हम क्या cluster करते हैं? And we cluster or we find out the cluster based on the statistical similarities, and then subsequently we use either ISO data or k-mean algorithm, and then we classify this image in two different classes. ठीक है. और जब सुपरवाइज क्लासिफिकेशन की बात होती है, उसकी टेक्निक की बात होती है, तो हम क्या करते हैं? वी प्रोवाइड द ट्रेनिंग डेटा सेट फॉर द क्लासिफिकेशन एंड बेस्ड ऑन दिस ट्रेनिंग डेटा वी फॉर्म द क्लस्टर and those cluster will be used for this classification. So here in unsupervised classification, basically clusters are formed based on this statistical similarity. In supervised classification, these clusters are formed based on the provided data, and that we are referring as training data, and in both classification technique we get classified image. उसके बाद जो हमारा सुपरवाइज क्लासिफिकेशन अप्रोच था, इसमें हम इमेज डेटा सेट को हाईलाइट करते हैं where we have 4 or 5 bands, and then for a particular pixel we will have 5 values, right? And at the same time we will have training data from the field, and these DN number and that information which we have collected in the field, we will develop a relationship, and that will be used to produce a classified image. So this is what we do in unsupervised and supervised classification technique. उसके बाद मैंने आपको लास्ट लेक्चर में ये भी बताया था कि मैंने कवर किया था K means clustering, then second one was your ISO data clustering. फिर in supervised classification I started with how do we select or how do we provide training data in supervised classification. So that we have already discussed. Then in supervised classification, I have started with minimum distance to mean classifier. Then subsequently we discussed parallel piped classifier. Now in this lecture हम discuss करेंगे आपसे nearest neighborhood classifier के बारे में. So let us see what exactly nearest neighbor classifier does. So this nearest neighbor classifier basically एक supervised classifier है, and we know if we are working with a supervised classifier, then we need to provide the training data. So मैं यहाँ पे इसको repeat नहीं करूँगा, and we are not going to discuss here what exactly these training data set are. मैं अज्यूम करके चलता हूँ कि ये आप हमारे प्रीवियस लेक्चर से समझ चुके होंगे, या वहां पे जाके उसको एक बार रेफरेंस वहां से ले सकते हैं. Now here this nearest neighbor classifier, this was developed for pattern recognition, right? Where it estimate the distance of image pixel from all the training sample. The fourth point क्या है? Is image pixel will be assigned to the nearest class training sample, and then it is important to note here that it does not depend on the class statistics like mean and covariance, and it has no relevance to the location of the pixel in the image. So next classifier में हमारा जो था वो था हमारा मैक्सिमम लाइक्लीहुड क्लासिफायर। यहाँ पे हम क्या कैलकुलेट करते हैं ऑफ अ if here we calculate the likelihood of a pixel for different classes, and here different classes means training data classes. So if you have given 4 or 5 classes, then you have to probably assigning this pixel into all those 4 to 5 classes. So in this method, we assign each pixel, uh, we assign we assign each pixel to the class of the highest likelihood. So here we have assumed that we have provided 4 or 5 training data. ठीक है, यहाँ पे मैंने assume ये कर लिया है कि हमारे पास 4 या 5 training data हैं, and the highest probability class will be used to assign or identify the class of unknown pixel. Unknown pixel का मतलब ये हुआ, I am referring the image pixel which we want to classify it, right? And the conditional probability of a feature vector x to be in the class of Ci is this one, right? So this is the normal expression. In general, we use this. So here we use these Bayes theorem for identifying the probability of x to be in the class of Ci, and this is the mathematical expression of the Bayes theorem. So this is your mathematical expression of the Bayes theorem. Now the probability, see this one. Now the probability of x pixel to be classified in Ci class can be calculated using this formula, where x is assigned to class Ci such that maximum probability, as we will get for Ci class, where one can be I can be 1 to k, the number of classes. So here if you have 4 or 5 classes, that this will go to 4 or 5. So here probability of Ci class is the probability of occurrence of the class and I in the image, and here this is the multivariate probability density function of the feature x, right? So the probability of x pixel to be classified in Ci class is considered as multivariate Gaussian distributed in parametric classifier. ठीक है, and this Gaussian distribution are very similar to Handel, but when you see the real example or real data, it is not we get the Gaussian distribution distributed sample. So in that case, it will be like a little bit difficult to resolve that class with this maximum likelihood classifier. So each class conditional density function is represented by mean vector and covariance matrix, and this mathematical expression can be used for that. Okay, now what are the assumptions we take into account in Gaussian distribution? So each class is assumed to be multivariative, normally distributed, right? That implies each class has a mean, right, with the highest likelihood of occurrence. The likelihood function decreases exponentially as the feature vector x deviates from the mean vectors, and which is the 1. The rate of decrease is actually governed by the class variance, where smaller the variance steep will be the decrease, and larger the variance slower will be the decrease. तो अगर the ये वाला आप साइड देखो, so the covariance matrix for each class are assumed differently, where you see this particular part of this equation is basically the Mahalanobis distance, that is between x and mu I. So here this is the mean vector. Okay, so if you want to calculate the distance using this Mahalanobis, then you can use this particular function. ठीक है, So maximum likelihood classifier में, so in maximum likelihood classifier, each pixels are classified no matter how far they are from the mean class, right? And this computationally slow compared to other techniques, and Gaussian distribution assumption is not always true. That I also indicated in the previous slide, because in nature it is very difficult to find this Gaussian distributed sample. Okay, so non-Gaussian distribution may affect the accuracy of the classification. A threshold T minimum can be introduced to handle the ambiguous feature vector. So here, basically, a threshold can be introduced to resolve the ambiguity of the feature vector. Okay, so if I want to show you example, here is one of the example, and you can see the result of maximum likelihood classifier in this particular image, where we have given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classes, right? So you can increase this or you can decrease this based on your application and requirement. So this is the result you get if you are using the maximum likelihood classifier, and there are certain limitations with each of these classifiers that you need to be understood. So as I told you here, no matter how far the pixel are away from the mean vector, they will be classified. So if you introduce a threshold, then there will be several pixels here, which will be unclassified. So that will be better when we do not want to resolve, or you do not want to classify the whole area into the available classes. So here, suppose if you want to identify or classify these images into only two classes, right? Water and the forest. So you can take these samples from these two and you can run this maximum likelihood classifier with the threshold. So kya hoga? What will happen? You will find these two classes available in your classified image, and rest of the pixels will be unclassified. So you need to understand all these methods very carefully, and accordingly you need to modify this as per your application. ठीक है, तो जो हमारा दूसरा क्लासिफिकेशन टेक्निक है वो है डिसीजन ट्री क्लासिफायर. सो ये हायरार्किकल और मल्टी स्टेज क्लासिफायर है. तो मल्टी स्टेज मीन्स here you can have multi stages or multi levels where you can change your decision and this input data, because previous case में previous method में हमने देखा we have classified the image using only one method where the data is fixed, method is fixed. But here in decision tree classification you have all the flexibilities. So here the sources of error will be more. So you need to be very careful while using this decision tree classifier. So decision can be taken at each stage, right? And different data sets can be ingested in each of these stages, and different features, different classification algorithms can also be changed or ingested time to time. So only few classes are considered at each stage. Training of this classifier is comparatively easy. So here this is a mechanism, or this is how we are going to apply the classification technique, or we want to identify a particular class type using this decision tree classification, where you have all the flexibility to use unsupervised, supervised classification at different levels. But मैंने आपको जैसा बताया था कि error will be more here because you will have several stages and each stage requires some decision. So if you are not very careful, then you will have more error in your classified image. So that is why you need to have a skilled personnel and a very good decision maker at every stage. ठीक है, so एक example लेते हैं हम लोग यहाँ पे. Let's see an example. Let's take an example. We have an input in image here, and I want to classify this image into C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, and C6 classes. Now what I can do is I can segregate based on this particular image, right? I can identify only C1, C3, C6 in one class, C2, C4, C5 in another class. So here you will have only two levels of classification. So C1, C3, C6, and another set is C3, C4, C5. Now here what you can do, you can provide more input data, so that you will be able to segregate all these classes separately. So अगर आगे देखें, you have segregated C3 from C1 and C6. C1 and C6 are segregated to further subdivide this class C1, C6 class in separate groups. So now we have C1, C6, C3 in separate outputs. Now similarly, you can ingest here some data sets are different logic or different classification techniques, and subsequently you will segregate all the classes here. So ultimately we have all these classes separate, right? So in this, uh, in this is not tree classification. What exactly we are doing? We are ingesting different satellite images or airborne images to segregate all these classes of an area. And here at different levels, you can change the input data, you can change your decision, or you can change your classification algorithm. So this is the beauty of this decision tree classification. Here have all the freedom, but you will have more error also. So error की जब बात करते हैं, ठीक है, so error can be introduced at any stage, and here you can see, here you can use this equation to calculate the probability of error. So error committed at any stage propagate downward. So here, for example, for any 6-stage decision tree classification, if the probability of error, just suppose, is 8%, the overall classification error will be approximately 40%. So you can see how serious this 8% could be here. Okay, so you have to be very careful while using this decision tree classifier. Now, अब समझना पड़ेगा कि why exactly we use this classifier, because we want to identify some land cover classes using this satellite images. But ultimately, these products will be used in some decision support systems, or it can be an input of your model, right? So you need to be very careful about the accuracy of all these outputs. So the ultimate aim of a remotely sensed image is to produce the thematic map, or to be part of decision support system without an accuracy assessment of the result of the classification is of zero value. Because if I do something like whatever I have shown you the classified image, but I didn't have mentioned what was the classification accuracy. So in that case, what happened? That classification result was of no use, because nobody will accept with an accuracy. So here you need to support the result of remotely sensed image. Overall and class-wise accuracy need to be estimated. So for example, if you have
So when you are talking about the accuracy assessment, errors can be introduced at any stage, and here you can see this equation to calculate the probability of the error. So error committed at any stage propagated downward. So here, for example, for any 6-stage decision tree classification, if the probability of the error is 8%, the overall classification error will be approximately 40%. So you can see how serious this 8% could be. So you have to be very careful while using this decision tree classifier. अब समझना पड़ेगा कि why exactly we use this classifier, because we want to identify some land use, land cover classes using this satellite images. But ultimately, these products will be used in some decision support system, or it can be an input for your model. So you need to be very careful about the accuracy of all these outputs. So the ultimate aim of a remotely sensed image is to produce the thematic map, or to be part of decision support system without an accuracy assessment of the result of the classification is of zero value. Because if I do something uh, whether I have shown you the classified image, but I didn't mention what was the classification accuracy. So in that case, what happens that the classification result was of no use because nobody will accept without any accuracy. So here you need to support the results of remotely sensed image overall and class-wise accuracy need to be estimated. So एक example लेते हैं. If you have classified your image input image into 4 or 5 classes जैसे कि है vegetation, urban area, water, surfs, grassland, dense forest, or some classes you have taken and you have classified the whole image into all these classes. But what if I say the classification accuracy of my image is 20%, 30%, or maybe 80%, right? तो क्या इसका मतलब है कि क्या all the classes, whatever we have considered in the classification, all the classes have this similar accuracy? Answer is no. So it cannot be. So you need to identify or you need to estimate the class-wise accuracy as well as the overall accuracy of your classified images. So that's why this third point, यहाँ पे जो थर्ड पॉइंट मैंने हाईलाइट आपको किया हुआ है, जो तीसरा पॉइंट हाईलाइटेड है, थर्ड पॉइंट मैंने क्या हाईलाइट किया है कि to support the result of remotely sensed images, overall and class-wise accuracy need to be estimated, right? So in general, accuracy can be estimated using ground truth because ultimately we want to compare with the original scenario. So suppose you have an image and this is the classified. Let us assume and you have found that this pixel, it belongs to water, but when you visited the area and you found that the latitude, longitude of this particular pixel is basically forest. This is not water in the field. So what we found this is a mismatch of the classes. So I have reported this pixel as water, but in field it is forest. So that means there is a mismatch. अब अगर हम accuracy assessment की बात करते हैं, तो let us understand it in detail. तो accuracy assessment में क्या होता है कि अगर आप assume कर रहे हैं कि this is the satellite image, ठीक है, आप मान के चलो कि ये वाला जो image है हमारा वो एक satellite image है, this is your satellite image, right? So see, satellite image of an area, and this is the classified image of this particular area, right? And here all these colors indicate some classes, and that classes can be seen here, but exactly whether they are matching or mismatching with the real world, that you need to establish. So what do you have to do? You have to visit the field and then you have to collect the location values like latitude and longitude using a GPS, and then you will be plotting here, right? And these plotted information will be used to compare the classified image class and the field class. So उसको हम कहते हैं ground truth, ठीक है? तो accuracy assessment में थोड़ा सा अगर और समझना है तो ये वाली स्लाइड देखिए. Here we will understand it. So these test pixels are nothing but the ground control point which we have plotted on the classified image collected from the field. So here what are the things we know? We know the location and the class, right? So you have had a classified image and here suppose let us say it has 3 classes, ठीक है? यहाँ पे हमारे पास क्या है, 3 क्लास है. 3 क्लास में कौन कौन सा है? वाटर है, फॉरेस्ट है, अर्बन एरिया है. When you collected the ground control point, which is known as test pixel in accuracy statement. So here the test pixel, I will use this triangle, right? And here the location and classes are known. So if I plot the collected information from the field, right, and let us assume this pixel in the classified image, it belongs to water, but in field it has, it was maybe, let us say, urban area, the next boundary. Similarly, if you consider this pixel here in the classified image, it is forest, but in the field it is water. So like that, you need to find out the corresponding class of the ground control point in the classified image and in the field. The training pixels are also same as test pixel. ये बात मैंने पिछले previous slide में आपको बताई थी. In classification, there also we provided the location and the known classes. Here we are calling it test pixel. So both are the same, only thing is based on the application. Different terms are used this pixel, ground control point, ground truth, and training pixel. So here in this case, in accuracy assessment, we use test pixel. So it is very important for us to note pixels should not be used as a training pixel during the image classification. Otherwise क्या होगा? Otherwise what will happen? Your accuracy assessment will be 100%. So accuracy of your produced result will be 100%. So that cannot be true. So here suppose you have visited this particular area and you have collected maybe 100 ground control point or maybe 100 ground control point. So out of 100 you have to use some in your classification. अब एक चीज और आपके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, वो आपका नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में है. ओके सी, ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट होता है कि टू नो दैट sufficient test points should be provided for the effective accuracy assessment. Otherwise क्या होगा? If you provided less number of the test point, then your accuracy will be more, and that cannot be true, right? So you need to follow this. The next rule is immediate never should not be used as a test pixel in the accuracy statement. ठीक है? So that was the immediate never. Immediate never here. So that was the immediate never means, suppose this was your image, and you have provided this ground control point in your classification, right? And this another pixel or another ground control point you have used in error estimation. So if they are just next to each other, then you will end up in again introducing the error. So next slide में आपको बताऊंगा कि what are the sources of error. So a remote sensing में confusion matrix है is often used to estimate the classification accuracy. ठीक है, अभी एक और स्लाइड है जिसमें मैं आपको कंफ्यूजन मैट्रिक्स के बारे में भी बताऊंगा. उसको हम यूज करते हैं टू एस्टिमेट द क्लासिफिकेशन एक्यूरेसी. It estimate the user and producer accuracy as well as overall accuracy of the classification. So here you have these two terms like user accuracy and producer's accuracy. So in classified image, if I am the analyst and if I am reporting accuracy, that will be the accuracy of producer, right? But if you are the user, then you will evaluate that accuracy in different terms. So then your accuracy will be something different from the produced accuracy. So the users and producers accuracies are different from each other, and depending upon which side you are, you will follow the accuracy on what are the different type of the error. Okay, so here let us see in the accuracy assessment. There are several issues associated with the assessment of the error in classification. So पहला है, first one is the nature of the classification, second one is the test pixel designed right, and the third one is the assessment sample size. So here the first one indicates the nature of the classification. So which algorithm you are using, depending on that you will have accuracy. The next is test pixel sample design. So how do you design your test pixel? Suppose if you are immediate neighbors, that will introduce the some error, right? If you distribute this test pixel in your image, then your accuracy will be more, right? The third one is your assessment sample size. How do you plan your sampling? So how did you decide the number of pixels or number of GCPS required in classification, required in the assessment? So that is also going to matter. So let us see how the sources of error are introduced in the classification as well as in the assessment. So there are several issues associated with the assessment of the errors in the classification. So पहला है the nature of the classification, दूसरा है the test pixel sample design, तीसरा है the assessment sample size. Let us see one by one how these are the different from each other and what exactly they mean. ठीक है, so let us see the nature of the classification, right? So here the selection of the impractical classes, for example tree height. So if you have used ground control point whose location is known, So latitude, longitude is known, but the information, the class information is basically tree height. So let us say 100-meter tall tree or 200-meter tall tree. So this is not going to help you in the classification. So you will introduce more error. In inappropriate class level like cliff, lake, river, etc., which are the landform and not the land cover type. So this is very important to level the class appropriately, because you will be using the same nomenclature in the whole classification, and subsequently you will be able to compare with the earlier result. So in us case mein, in an appropriate class leveling will introduce error in your classification. So then the misleveling of the classes. So suppose you have collected this particular ground control point, and in the field you have noticed that this particular pixel of the or the location, latitude, longitude belongs to the water, but by mistake you have named it or you have written forest. Then what will happen? This error will get propagated in your classification. So this is the meaning of misleveling of the classes, right? So this is all about the accuracy assessment of the source of the error. The first part, that is the nature of the classification. So we'll discuss about the next one, that is your test pixel sample design, but we are just about to bind up the session here only. We will continue that part in the uh, in the image classification part 4. So we'll take a more lecture and we'll cover the image classification part in that part also. So I hope you are all enjoying this video, and if you have any doubt, you can directly write me at ankur95@apit.ac.in. So here we are just ending up this session of today's lecture. We'll be back with some other parts in the next lecture. So keep enjoying, and thank you and God bless you all. Thank you, class. Thank you so much.